Hello and welcome to On Point. I'm Trevor Edwards. Many CSUN students have concerns about their safety, as do many Americans living in any community. CSUN is one of the largest and most diverse campuses in the country, located in a highly populated urban area surrounded by businesses and homes. CSUN provides students with the resources to keep them safe and prevent crime. And CSUN has been rated number 43 out of 140 on the list of safest colleges in California by backgroundchecks.org. On Point's Dana Lights has more on the story.
Thank you, Trevor. I'd like to thank our guests for being here today. We have Sociology Professor Dr. Victor Shaw, Associate Director of Residential Life Melissa Giles, and Associated Student Senator for Lower Division Nick Jackson. Thank you so much for joining us today. So my first question is, with all the anxiety of the pressures of going on with safety here, do you believe CSUN is safe and why? So we'll go down the line. Dr. Shaw?
I think CSUN is basically safe, but obviously more can be done to make it safer.
I believe CSUN is safe, especially for such a large campus, and I think our Department of Police Services is particularly concerned with student safety and communicating with students, and I think that the command staff really listen when students have concerns and share concerns, but basically for such a large campus, yes, I think we are pretty safe.
Yeah, and I also believe CSUN is safe. CSUN is making great efforts for safety. Obviously, like any other campus, there are going to be incidents, but we do make great efforts to make sure our campus is safe.
And so, can you please describe one other safety measure besides the CSUN police that is here for us students? We'll go down the line again, Dr. Shaw.
I think I would like to focus on individuals and faculty, students, and the staff. We all can do something on our part to make the campus safer. I think one thing we can do to exercise self-discipline and to kind of achieve self-sufficiency in safety. What I mean by self-discipline, I think we can do our part individually to diffuse tension, to manage stress well, and to kind of cope with conflict effectively. Conflict, tension, stress, I think they are part of life, especially true for our working students. So they have to work on a job, and they have to attend school. So a great deal of stress builds up on a daily basis. So if we, as the faculty members, if we can relate to students well to help them kind of cope with stress, and I think we can kind of eliminate some root causes for problems on campus.
For my role in housing, I would say we have staff on duty 365 days a year and 24 hours in terms of our professional staff and the RAs on duty. So they do rounds. They're constantly eyes and ears looking around. They're all really well trained. So they are definitely another measure of safety, I think, for at least housing on campus.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to student housing for their great work. And also there are two other components I feel are great safety measures as well, which are marital patrol as well as the Title IX program.
Even though the Department of Police Services was unavailable to do On Point today, do you think that the police station is effective here on campus for all of us students?
I do not have specific data about their performance, but I assume they are doing their job. As far as we know, there are no major incidents happening. So I guess they are doing their job in keeping the campus safe.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the for the Department of Police Services to not be here today. For me, a personal experience, I was in a committee in Associated Students called the Safety Ad Hoc Committee, which was a temporary committee that was focused on safety, and Captain Scott Vanscoy was in the committee. So seeing his efforts and how much he actually cares about the campus shows how much the police services actually do care and how much in their effort in making our campus safe.
So according to the campus safety and security data put out by the U.S. Department of Education in 2014, when comparing schools to private schools, University of Southern California and Loyola Marymount, and then to public schools like Cal State LA and Northridge, in this region, the private schools had more crime reported. So I'm going to ask Dr. Shaw, do you believe that why do you believe that private schools have more crime reported than the public schools that have open campuses like this one?
I don't think ownership is a factor here. I think what matters is location and where the campus is located, and also the way it operates. How we manage the university. But I don't think there is much difference between public and private university in the way it operates. And the location, obviously, University of Southern California happens to sit in a part of the city that's highly problematic, and also I think student population is an important factor, and those private university has a considerable percentage of foreign students. Foreign students when they are here, when they come here, they may not be necessarily familiar with American society and general neighborhood settings. So they may have some kind of, for example, I look at some incidents that happened at the USC campus, and a good number of them are targeted to international students because of the way they go about their daily routines. So I think that's another thing. And then, of course, with regard to student population, I think public university here, especially Cal State LA and CSUN here, we are basically a commuter school, and we do not have a good percentage of or significant percentage of students living on campus. So when you have students living on campus, that obviously can pose more problems. And our students, basically, they just come for during the day for school, and after their classes, they go back to their communities. So whatever problems they may, encounter or create, they basically do it in their own community, not here on campus. So I think that's also a factor. Of course, there are many other factors as well. So I'll probably give to the next.
Well, we'll go on to another question if that's okay. So can the possibility of solicitors being freely on campus without official security affect overall safety of the school? So I'll ask that to Melissa first.
Actually, solicitors can't be on campus without any permission. People can be on campus because the campus is public and it's an open state institution. But there are rules for solicitors and rules about they can't go inside of buildings. And frankly, I'm not an expert on that, but our Matador Involvement Center kind of carries that role for the university in terms of getting people registered to be on campus and those sorts of things. But of course, you allow more people on campus, it can affect safety, but it can affect it positively or potentially negatively, to more directly answer your question.
Mm-hmm. And so, according to the Office of Institutional Research in 2015, CSUN had around 41,000 students here. So, and again, like you said, many students either live in housing or commute from the greater Los Angeles area. And so, with that, I'll ask Nick, with the safety, do you see any challenges with such a big population of students and faculty and staff? Is that safety for everyone? What challenges do you see there?
I would definitely say, obviously there's a big diversity of amount of students, so obviously you can't really control everybody. But that's really a great question. Yeah, what do I say about that? Yeah, so there's obviously going to be a great diversity amount of students. We don't know where everyone comes from. So yeah, we probably can face issues from the amount of students that are on this campus. I think there has not been much crime from that are student related, so that's a great factor. Most of the crime that we do here on campus is from a non-CSUN student. So I think our main worries are the people that are not CSUN students.
And Dr. Shaw, as a professor, what challenges do you see when it comes to thinking if there's a threat in your class? Do you feel that somewhat of a protector of your students, and do you feel that the university has given you the resources for an emergency? What would you say on that?
I think, as a professor, so you have the kind of responsibility to make sure your class is in order, students are safe in case of an emergency. So I think you should exercise necessary cautions and follow proper procedures to protect your students. So I think, to me, a number of things may be important. First, you need to be calm, so when our situation, it's not easy, but I think to remain calm is very important. And also to follow common sense, So let's say if the incident happens within the class, what you should do, or if it happens outside of the class, what you should do. I mean, so there's some kind of commonsensical kind of reactions. Commonsensical, we should sometimes rely upon our natural instincts to figure out what is the most appropriate response should be in a particular situations. And finally, I think courage, especially, when something bad happens, it takes some courage to really stand up and to render protection you're supposed to give to your students.
Melissa, what prevention programs on campus and in housing do you have to educate students about safety?
I think we train the RAs on safety and evacuation, shelter in place, which it means to stay where you are in case of a chemical spill, but also an active shooter. So we provide that training for the RAs. We do a lot of simulations and things of that nature. Our community policing team that works, I'm going to get their hours wrong, but I think it's Wednesday through Saturday. They are completely, as our chief likes to say, married to housing, and they spend a lot of time doing safety programming and just walking around and talking to students and getting to know them, being familiar faces. RAs that are particularly safety-minded are encouraged to do programs and workshops of that nature. And then our student handbook on our website talks about safety and emergency preparedness, for example. And so we have a plethora of things, I think, available.
And how does the school communicate with students in an emergency? Nick, can you answer that?
Okay, so in an emergency, we do have emergency email reports that are sent out for certain types of crimes. And there's also a text emergency alert. You register for that, you go through the CSUN portal.
And I'm going to ask again, Nick, is there any on-demand transportation service here that students use frequently?
I would say the tram services, they go from campus to the dorms in the F10 parking lot, as well as the Marital Patrol. If you request one, they do have a tram, not a tram, it's like a little cart service, and they have that for the first couple of hours when they're in service during their time on service.
And Dr. Shaw, with the recent political changes that our country is facing, how do you think undocumented students will feel about safety?
I think, typically, under this kind of political climate, undocumented students in particular So they have fears, they have anxieties. Or probably some overwhelming feeling of uncertainty. And I don't think they could be, or they should worry about being questioned by the authority, the university administration, or being questioned by the police on their way to school, or being questioned by their classmates, or being attacked by some citizen vigilantes. There are some citizens, but I don't think that will happen. But obviously, it probably hung in their mind. So those could be sources for fears, for sense of anxiety. But I think I should say, also given political climate from Washington D.C. or we also have political resistance here, especially in California. So that's why I say our students should not worry about being questioned by the authority, the university management, by the professor, by their fellow students, or even by citizen advantage. Those kind of hardcore conservatives. They would say, "You're an immigrant. You do not belong here. Get out of here." I don't think that will necessarily happen in California. But again, it's natural for them to think all these possibilities. Yeah.
I can speak on that too. So CSUN is one of the most diverse campuses in the nation, and we have one of the highest rate of undocumented students, and we have support from the Dream Center as well as DACA. And I just think as Matadors, we should all support our friends that are undocumented, as well as we need to, I do think the police services are supporting students that are undocumented, but we also need to address that as well, just to make sure that our students are safe on this campus.
So, Nick, can I ask you a question, or can you tell me what the blue lights are and how do they work here on campus?
Okay, so on campus, I don't know if any of y'all have seen it, there are blue poles, and they have a red button you push, and there's 92 on campus, by the way. Yeah, there's you push the button, and I'm sorry. Yeah, so you push the button, and then a respondent asks you what the emergency is. And so that's pretty much what it is, yeah.
And so, like you did say, yes, CSUN does have 91 blue lights on campus designed to help students in danger, but many of our CSUN students are unaware of their function. So let's take a look and see what they have to say.
As far as I know, it's from community college, just emergency, you press it if there's something going on.
I actually haven't. This is the first time I actually paid any attention to it.
They told me about it in freshman orientation.
If that's the case, maybe the police give us sort of like a training, instruction, so everyone knows how to use it.
She used it she got in a fight with some girl in the parking lot, and she called the police, and it came within a minute or less. It was at nighttime, but they came, so that's good.
So, according to Christina Villalobos, the public information officer at CSUN's Department of Police Services, in an interview that she did last year with the Sundial, she said that 272 calls were made from the blue light boxes on campus. So, I would have to ask, how can we educate more students about having the knowledge of these blue lights? Dr. Shaw?
Yeah, I think it would be good to have a video, 5 minutes or so video, made and show the video to new students during the orientation. I think also new students are required to take some orientation courses, or I heard about a general education course. But anyway, so I think there are occasions, there are opportunities for students to view the video, to get familiar with those blue lights available and how to use them. So I think that should be the way to go.
right now we're going to show a clip of some areas in Northridge that are a little bit brighter than others. And so I have to ask, Nick, is there any specific reason that we have more brighter spots on campus than others?
Okay, so in the Safety Ad Hoc Committee, that was an issue that was brought up, and we did have talks with Captain Scott Vanscoy, and there are spots on campus that are more popular than others. You're going to see more students going around the USU than you would see closer to like Nordhoff Hall or something like that. So yeah, we're just for that sense. There's going to be more lighting areas that have more traffic, and we are still trying to get more funding so we can get more lights into areas that have less traffic, just so it can be equal. But for right now, when we got the certain amount of funding for as many lights as we can have, we got to focus on the more popular areas.
And so here we're going to show where students don't feel safe because of some type of lighting. So particularly students that make late night trips to the gym or have classes or night classes. So let's take a look.
I feel like one thing to make me feel safe at night is have more lighting. Because honestly, when I'm going to the gym at night and I walk through the baseball field, there is no light. And it's like I literally have to turn on the flash of my phone to walk.
Nick, you did mention about the Matador Patrol. So can you please tell me why that was created?
Okay, so I don't have the full story, like the history of it. I heard that it was actually created by Greeks on campus years ago, and they were just doing it as a volunteer service to help people get from destination A to destination B, and then later became a service that CSUN adopted. So basically it's used to help students leave campus and get to like a safe destination. Clearly, the campus is not fully lit, so we have safety escorts that are fully trained to help you get from destination A to destination B.
Do you know how far, and this will be for Melissa, do you know how far out the Matador Patrol goes for the campus perimeter, and then when walking students at night, and do you know when their services start on and end on a regular basis?
I actually don't. That would be a police services question because they manage them, but I know they definitely come up to housing and they go all over campus. I don't know if they go past the perimeter of campus, but that'd be a better question for police services. And I believe once they end, a student can even still call police services and ask for an escort. It might take a considerable amount more time for the student to get picked up, but I think that service exists even when the Matador Patrol is finished for the evening.
Melissa, again, what other places in student housing, if students want to go because they don't feel unsafe in their room, so what other places are there?
Yeah, of course the 24-hour community center is always staffed and there's someone always there, and then we have the resident advisors on duty. They can phone somebody and have somebody come to them, and we have access to police services within minutes. They get to us, and so. But the community center is I think a good one because again, you're not feeling safe. You can go there and you'll find at least one person. Typically, a whole lot more.
So the Director of Student Housing and Conference Services, Tim Trevin, estimated the number of residents that live in student housing. So let's hear what he has to say about that.
3,200, a little bit over 3,200 in the University Park, and that's mostly for single students. And then in the University Village, which is mostly for families, we have 120 apartments. We do house some upper division students over there, and so we probably have, with children of the families and spouses, partners, husbands, wives, we probably have 250 to 300 residents living up there. So probably a total of 35 to 3,600 people living here at any one time.
So Melissa, with that many students in the University Park and the Village apartments, are the same safety regulations the same for everyone in housing?
Yeah, the safety regulations are the same. We have a little bit different security profile over in the University Park area. We did crime analysis some years ago when we ramped up our gate security program and found that really in University Park is where majority of crime and a lot of times non-CSUN students coming into our environment and looking for parties, looking to steal things, and the Village didn't have that kind of level of crime. And so, but the RAs on duty patrol the Village twice per evening, just like they patrol over in the University Park.
And so again, a question for you would be, how would you say security has changed or increased over the previous years till now?
Yeah, when I came 15 years ago, The perimeter gates around the University Park complex were only closed, I believe, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. And then I think around about 2007 or 2008, we did that crime analysis and discovered that a lot of the crime was happening because of non-CSUN students coming and looking for problematic or looking for trouble, and they became problematic. So now we close the gates 7 days a week, and they're locked down 7:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. And we used, again, that same crime analysis to find out what were the hours and times that most frequent crime was happening. So we've gone to full 24-hour, or not 24-hour, full 7-day-a-week gate coverage.
According to Tim Trevin again, he believes that safety starts with the student and their willingness to utilize their resources. So let's take a look at what he has to say.
It really all starts with you. We've got so much built around students that will work if the student chooses to let it work or to work with it.
So the CSUN police told On Point that all the safety programs and information could be viewed exclusively on the CSUN website. So then my question for everyone is, do you think that is the most effective way to get info out to residents? And if not, can you tell us another way that you believe students should receive this knowledge about safety? So we'll go down the line from Nick.
Okay, so I know that they have their information on their website. They also teamed up with the Office of Student Involvement and Development for the New Student Orientation. They talk about it in the morning program as well as in their skip program that's at the end of the day called Take. They talk about blue lights as well as lighting and safety in Title IX. And I also think we probably should make more efforts because marketing is probably like a big issue right now because there are a lot of services that are here to help the students, and we just need to make sure the students know about these services to help us to keep everybody safe.
And I think it's an effective way to get information across, and we tried really to direct students for safety to police services, so we're all speaking kind of with the same voice, but there's plenty of other ways. Orientation is a good way, training, like I said, our resident advisors to make sure that they're alerting students to their resources around safety. Some marketing, some interesting marketing, that active shooter video that police services just made, they could do more videos like that. I think videos catch, it's a quick way to catch somebody's attention and give them a lot of information all at one time.
Dr. Shaw?
Yeah, I agree with them, and so we can use our website as a leading source of information for our students, and then we can use different occasions, different settings, to publicize resources that are available on campus to complement what they can find from our website.
So again, I want to thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you for watching On Point. You can follow us on social media at CSUN On Point. You can hear us on KCSN 88.5 FM on Sunday mornings at 5:30. You can watch us on Santa Clarita Valley Television on Sundays at 11 and at 5, and on LA 36 on Saturday afternoons at 3. For all of us here at On Point, I'm Trevor Edwards.